Okay, so it's been a really long time since I've done a video showing off our garden, so I just thought I'd try doing one today and see how it goes. So I'm standing by our front door. To the left here, that's going to be a strawberry bed next year. Haven't had time to fill any dirt in. This is our raspberry patch here. These are fall-bearing or primo-cane raspberries, so they're just coming in to fruit. Not yet ripe, another week or two probably. And over here is one of our main parts of the garden. So we've got this sprawling mass of butternut squash. Then I had we've got some pole beans that aren't super productive. Been trying out this new trellising system this year for the tomatoes and the cucumbers. That's been going pretty well. I've been doing training to a single leader, and then trained up a piece of twine, and then you've got these roller hooks here that if they actually reach the top, you can let more out. I have done that on a couple of the tomatoes, and then the cucumbers especially. I bet if I had really kept up to them and kept them healthy this year, and especially with watering, they'd probably be 15 feet by the end of the season easily. And then a lot of what I'm growing is paste varieties of tomatoes. So you can see we got some ripe. I just picked yesterday, so there's not a ton of super ripe ones. And then we've got more pole beans along here, and then we've got, this is where the peas were earlier this year, and you can see that the fall peas just starting to come up. I just planted them a few days ago. Oh, there's actually one right there that's actually quite nice sized. They've sprung up just quite a bit in just the last couple days. And in front of the peas, I've got a handful of peppers that you might be able to see. I know the lighting's not the greatest. You might be able to see there. So let's go around back this way. Okay. This is kind of a shady spot underneath a tree that gets too much root competition, so I just have some perennials here. And we got what's left of the earlier crop of broccoli. Planting green beans in these cement block beds has gone really, really well. They're quite happy. I've been getting tons and tons of green beans. Reserving this row out here next to my car for seed saving. And then I've also put in some broccoli for the fall. These have been in the ground as transplants for about a week, maybe 2 weeks by now. Can't remember for sure. It's a pretty hot year, and it's you always run that balance. We haven't had a whole lot of rain, so you want to encourage deep roots, but you also want to keep them from dying. So I'm going to be watering after I do this video. Actually, I've got some more peppers here, and then over here are some of the peppers I was mentioning on the other side of the peas. Another thing I'm doing this year is I built this little table here for giving away excess produce. Was doing quite a bit for a while, and then I've been freezing a bunch. I've had some time to do that, and then I'll pretty close to having enough for our freezer, so I'm going to be going out and putting a lot more, especially the tomatoes. I think I've got all the tomatoes I need, or pretty close to all I need. I've got some dill here that I plant more to attract parasitic wasps than anything. And then more beans along the sides here, and then this is where our garlic was earlier in the year, and been racking my brains to figure out what a good follow-up to garlic so for a fall crop. And one of the few classic fall vegetables that we like is broccoli, so we're trying that this year, and they're getting established quite nicely, especially considering what the weather's been like. Hopefully they don't bolt and make small heads. The but if they do, it's worth at least trying. And then back over on this side, we used to have a couple cherry trees here, and they just were not doing well. You can see the stump of one there that's suckering out, and then that one there I did not cut, flush to the ground, but I'm gonna get those completely out at some point. And then we just had some butternut squash kind of sprawling in here, and you can tell things are dry. It's already starting to wilt, even though it's about 9:30 in the morning. And we've got a just jungle of volunteer sunflowers that I've let. It's a little wilder than I was planning on, but it looks nice, and the goldfinches constantly visit these, so it's basically free bird food. Then over here, underneath this tree, I've got lots of sunflower there, but I've got borage, which again I plant just for attracting predatory insects. More beans, zucchini that I planted a little late because the earlier zucchini that I planted did not take. And then our more mature zucchini, they haven't been super productive this year, but we're getting enough for our own needs, and every so often I have enough to sell or to put on the table. And then the beans in here are all dry bean varieties, so a lot of these are completely done. Some, you can see there, that's about half. There's some pods that are ready and some that aren't. It's on my list to start harvesting these. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Elderberries are mostly done for the year, so this bush here is almost completely picked over. Got some rhubarb. Whereas this bush, I've gotten some picking off of it the last couple days. And you can see, here, there's a lot of immature berries still on there, but there's also some, clusters. I've been picking off of this, so like there, that gives you an idea of what a almost completely ripe. Usually what I'll do is I'll take it at that stage and just take off the couple, you can see the lighter colored berries there. You want to get it, I usually wait till they're almost all ripe, which is a handful of immature berries if there are any, before I pick it, because if you pick it at say like this stage, it's just way too labor intensive to separate out the ripe from the unripe ones. And I don't lose a ton to birds. They mostly just get lost by they just fall off on the ground. As you can see some here. And then in this bed here, we had potatoes that I harvested from here to there earlier, really small. At my other garden, the potatoes actually did quite well from what I've harvested so far, but these, I'll be harvesting, at some point. I had to cut the vines, back along here where they were out competing the beans as well as going into the sidewalk. I'm not sure if I will do potatoes here next year or just do a better job of keeping them off the sidewalk, because it was a little jungly for me, and it also, I lost out on some of the potential yield from the sidewalk bed. And then here's our other raspberry patch. This one I've been picking off a little bit more than the front one for early raspberries, but it's just a small handful here and there. But you can really see the main crop is coming in pretty soon. I mean, based on previous years, I'll be picking anywhere from a pint to 2 quarts a day for a couple weeks, hopefully, if not longer. It's my first year of managing them where I cut them completely to the ground in the winter. So everything that's growing right now is the first year canes versus having a mix of second year that give you an earlier crop and first year that give you a crop this time of year. And then just a little bit more potatoes on that side, and then some extra perennials I got on this little end, because I didn't want to put the cement blocks all the way to the end, because every so often in the winter the city will come through with a loader to free up this alley here, and that would just knock the hell out of my blocks. And then we got a couple elderberry bushes that I cut back, a couple that I moved over here that are just getting established, and then another cherry tree that I cut down a good chunk of it, but then I ran out of time and I just haven't gotten to cutting the rest of it. So anyways, I hope you guys found that interesting. If you guys had any questions, comments, feedback, just put it in the comments. Thanks.